Hey guys, and welcome back. I am so excited. Today is the day we are finally doing the full face of e.l.f. makeup. If you guys saw my Cyber Monday haul, you saw that I got some good deals on their products. It was about 60% off on their website, excluding some of the new items, which I did pick up a couple of those. So I am so excited. There's actually a lot of e.l.f. products that I hadn't tested out before, which makes it so much more fun. Hopefully we discover some good gems together today. So I'm just gonna stop talking right there. We're gonna jump right into it. You guys might wanna grab a snack or a beverage because with it being a full face, this is gonna be a long one. And where I'm gonna get started is with what I usually do, my brows. So I'm gonna scoot you guys a little bit closer and let's just go ahead and start playing with some new makeup. So I do have two brow products to go in with. The first is gonna be their Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I picked up the shade Taupe and the pencil is only $5. So I just like to go in with the brow pencil first and start giving myself a shape and a little bit of a guide because I am gonna go in just a minute with some brow pomade. And this brow pencil is a little bit of a stiffer product. It's not so creamy where it just glides on. It takes a little bit more to kind of work into it, which isn't necessarily too bad. I like the brow pencils that are in between creamy and stiff. Not overly creamy where the product's just gonna mush all together and not too stiff where it doesn't give off any pigment. So when I have this kind of crazy shape going on, I'm gonna go in with some pomade. This is the e.l.f. Liner and Brow Cream. This one is $4 and I got this in Taupe Blonde. On their website, it went from Taupe Blonde to light brown, so I thought taupe might be safer. We're about to find out. Ooh, yes, that is a good match. The one on top is the brow pomade. One below is the brow pencil. So I did good here. So I'm just gonna start filling in the brows where I have it lined out. That's filling in really easily. I like that. Just gonna run a spoolie through the brows real quick. Make sure it works all the way through. What might be really good about this product is that it says it is also a liner, so it could lock into place and just be a lot more long lasting throughout the day, which is a huge benefit. Oh my gosh, I totally didn't even see that the other end of the brow pencil has a spoolie. So let me use that. And it does actually feel like it's already kind of drying into the brows. Like, you know, when you feel it's a little bit stiffer on your brow hairs, that's what it feels like. So these two actually worked out really well. I like that. They are a little bit on the bushier side, but have no fear. We are gonna go in with a little bit of concealer and go around the brows and kind of chisel them out. So for that, I have their HD Lifting Concealer, which is only $3, but I was really disappointed looking on their website. They definitely only have for lighter skin tones. They had fair, light, and medium. So not really any options if you have darker skin tones, which is very unfortunate. So I'm just gonna plop a little bit down right here, and then I'm gonna go in with a concealer brush and shape things out. And this does feel really light, like lightweight. With the concealer. It didn't really feel creamy, it felt kind of liquidy. Then once I'm done going around the brows, I am gonna bring a little bit of concealer down to the eyes because I did forget to buy an eyeshadow primer from their website. So concealer is gonna have to do for today. It's not necessarily my favorite to use for primer, but it's gonna work. But now, let's move into some eyeshadow. So I picked up the brand new Opposites Attract eyeshadow palette. Ooh, this thing looks pretty. There is a grand total of 18 eyeshadows, 9 are warm toned, 9 are cool toned. Inside there is also 6 shimmers and the rest are mattes. I also decided I want to show you guys some swatches of it. So this is the first 2 rows. The shimmery shades look so good. And here is the last row. I'm honestly so impressed by the way they swatch. They all seem so pigmented. Even the matte shades, whew, oh my gosh. And oh, I don't think I mentioned it. It is $14 for this entire eyeshadow palette, which honestly isn't bad for 18 eyeshadows. And it does look like they split up the warm tones to be right here and the cool tones to be over here. Ooh, this is a tough decision. What do I want to do? I tend to gravitate toward the warm tones on the daily. I mean, that's what you guys see me do the most. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do something in this arena right here. I think I'm gonna go for it. Step out the box, Nessa. All right, so let's just do this. All right, cool tones, I can do this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, so what I'm thinking is starting out with a shade called Witty. And I'm gonna be using this on my Sigma E40 brush, and I'm gonna run it right along in my crease. So I'm just gonna be working this back and forth. And I am gonna make sure I bring it in all the way to the inner corner and bring it out and then give it a little swoop, because I always do a little bit of cleanup with concealer underneath. And I'm thinking today is gonna be a halo eye day. And that first eyeshadow looks like it blended in really nicely. It's a very soft shade. I dipped into it just like the tiniest bit more, and I'm just gonna apply just a little bit extra. Then I'm gonna dip into the shade over here called Smooth. Gonna use that on my Morphe Y19 and just deepen things up just a little bit more. Not using a whole lot of pressure, just a very light hand blending through just slightly below where we had that shade. What was it? Witty. And so far, so good. All right, next thing I wanna do is take some more of that concealer we used earlier. Although this time we're gonna be using it to cut out the kind of halo shape. And then with your shape cut out, we're gonna move on to another eyeshadow. And this time I wanna take the shade over here called Chill, which is a shimmery shade. It's a shimmery purple, and I'm gonna use it on my Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush. And I'm gonna be packing it on the outer lid and along with on the inner. Just like so. And I didn't even use setting spray, and this picked up really nicely. Then dipping into the shade over here called Clever. Taking that on my MAC 248 brush, and I'm gonna pack it on the edges where we place the shade Chill and work these in together. Leaving a tiny gap in the middle because I do want to pop a little spotlight shade in there, which is gonna be the shade called Low Key. I just used my color switch, and then I'm taking the same MAC 248 brush, and I'm gonna be placing this right in the center. Ooh, yes, that looks so good. And at this point, you guys should know the drill. I am gonna take a little bit more of Smooth on my Sigma E17 brush, and I'm just gonna go around it to help define the kind of halo, cut crease, whatever you want to call this look, just a little bit more, so you can really see where the shades we blended in on top kind of go. I feel like it's one of those really subtle details that makes a difference. Then I'm gonna finish up with some lashes, and I got the volumizing mascara. This one's only $2. I got the shade Black, and here's what the wand looks like. And I'm really gonna try to build up the lashes today because I didn't buy any falsies. I have tested out their normal falsies before, and I'm just not a huge fan of them. I think they look a little bit fake. They look kind of plasticky. And it wasn't until after I'd completed my entire order and a couple days had gone by that I saw that they had a new collaboration with someone. Can't remember off the top of my head exactly who it was, but those lashes actually look pretty nice from what I saw online. I will have to try those out another time. So I'm just gonna see if we can get some volume here with this mascara. That's what it looks like with one coat on. Let's go in with a second. See if we can build these puppies up. All right, now let's try 3 coats. Okay, with 3 coats, it's not bad. It's not exactly my favorite kind of look. It looks a little bit more spider leggy than I like. Is there any e.l.f. mascaras that you guys have tried that you recommend me checking out? Because I seem to be grabbing the wrong ones. But all right, that is the eyes done. I'm gonna zoom you guys out and we're gonna move on to the face. For primer, I have the Poreless Face Primer. And I'm just gonna start working this on the face. This is a product that I have actually had for a while, and I do actually really like it. I love the smell of it. It has tea tree inside of it, which I think tea tree smells heavenly. I love that smell. And it just glides so easily into the skin, gives a nice little layer for your foundation. And I do think it does help to minimize the look of your pores, but it's not like a pore filling primer where it's just gonna completely smooth things out. It's just gonna be a little extra step to help have a little bit layer underneath where it's not gonna look so deep if you have those pores that kind of give you that cratery look. But that is a really nice little primer. And then for foundation, I have the Flawless Finish Foundation in the shade Porcelain. This one is also only $6. And here's what a swatch of porcelain looks like. And I'm just gonna begin by kind of dotting this all over. And then I'm just gonna take my Real Techniques sponge and start working this in. And this foundation, I would say, is a good foundation, but it definitely has some pros and cons to it. So the pros is that it does work out really seamlessly. The application is really nice. I'd say it's about a medium coverage because it does help to even out some of your redness if you have some spots that you're trying to hide. A huge benefit is that I don't see myself getting overly oily throughout the day as the hours go by. But some of the cons to this foundation, which the first is a little bit trivial. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, but I hate the smell of it. It reminds me of paint, and I don't know if it's because it has the SPF in there. It has an SPF of, I think it's 15, yeah. Not exactly sure which ingredient makes it smell like that, but I'm just not a fan. I kind of hold my nose a little bit when I'm applying it. And some of the other issues that I have seen with it, although it does look really beautifully, it doesn't wear the longest. I do find that different areas of the face are gonna fade a lot faster, like the areas of my chin, my nose, and a little bit on the jawline. Those will all fade pretty easily because this foundation doesn't really set. It remains very tacky throughout the day, so if you don't set any kind of powder all over, the foundation wears off very easily. So I don't find that the longevity is that great, which also makes it have the issue of transferring really easily, which is one of the things I really don't like. Just the other day, I was wearing this foundation and I just pulled a hoodie over and it felt like it took in my entire face off with it. That is how tacky it remains and how much transfers. But that is just some of the things I want to mention because I have been testing out this foundation fully, and that's what I have discovered. I'm now gonna go back into this concealer. I'm gonna start putting a little bit underneath the eyes. One thing I will say is that this concealer, for being fair, is a lot darker. I'm actually gonna do a swatch again. There's the foundation and there's the concealer in Fair. And the Fair concealer is a lot darker than the shade Porcelain in foundation. So I'm just gonna try to put just a little bit underneath the eyes. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this concealer since it is a little bit darker. And just blend that out. What is kind of cool about this concealer is it also has some good ingredients in it. It has, let me look on the website so I don't get it wrong, vitamin C, green tea, and mulberry to help smooth and improve skin texture. Ooh. So I mean, it's not a bad concealer. I do like how it kind of dries in and sets itself. I think that is a really nice little feature. I just 100% think that they need to expand their shade range. It is not good enough. Which actually, how many foundation shades do they have? 11 foundation shades. Elf, come on, you need to get it together. Then to set the face, I got one of their loose powders, the HD powder in sheer. This one is only $6. I'm a little bit nervous though with all of the HD names. I'm wondering if I'm gonna have Flashback City on my face today. I'm thinking I need to do a flash test later on. So I poured a little bit out in the cap here, and I'm just gonna take a little bit on my sponge. And I'm gonna do this the normal way that I always do, which is apply it with my sponge underneath the eyes. And just really press that powder in. Ooh, close up, you can see a little bit of a white cast underneath. That's kind of scary. But I mean, I will test it. It might just lighten the foundation because it is a very sheer powder. I don't know, I'm just a little bit cautious, let's say that. But it does look like it is setting the foundation really nicely, helps mattify things. It's also giving it a really smooth appearance, like that velvety look to it. And I'm just taking a little bit on the chin, sides of the mouth, and on the forehead. I think I need to do a flashback test though. I'm gonna step aside for a minute and take a quick picture. Ooh, yeah, that is not a great picture, but I do see a little bit of a white cast underneath the eyes and everywhere where I put that powder. So unfortunately, that is gonna kind of disqualify that powder. If you're planning to do something that is gonna be out and about at night, you're taking pictures, you definitely don't wanna use a powder that does have flashback. So that is pretty unfortunate that it does have that because it was a really nice powder. It did feel like it set everything nicely. So I mean, if it's just a casual day and you have this powder, you're not really gonna be out taking pictures. I mean, you can just set that puppy down with a little bit of that powder, but just something I want you to keep in mind is no flash photography, please. Then let's bronze up the face. So I have one of their primer infused bronzers. This one is in Forever Sunkissed. Here's a little swatch of it, and it is $6. Elf definitely does have a theme. Everything seems to be around that price range. So I'm gonna load up my Aesthetica brush. I'm gonna tap that off because hopefully I didn't rub into it too much. And I'm just gonna start bronzing up the face. I've also been on a kick of not really contouring. I've been kind of eliminating that slowly, and I've been just focusing on bronzing the face and just doing more detailing with the bronzer. I don't know, I feel like it helps make things look a little bit more natural instead of having a whole lot of different things going on in the cheekbones, contour, bronzer, blush, highlight. It's kind of a lot for one little area to have. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still contour, but on the more natural and everyday kind of makeup looks, I've been just kind of bronzing, which that is actually a really nice shade. That is pretty. Oh yes, I like that. I'm also gonna take some on the forehead, working that around, taking it down the sides by the jawline, bringing a little bit down the neck as well. Got a bronze up here, got a very ghostly neck. Man, what a nice bronzer. That caught me by surprise. I like that a lot. And I'm gonna take just the tiniest amount of that bronzer and take it down these sides of the nose. I've been kind of getting into a bronzer nose as well. And I like using an angled brush. This is the medium angle shading brush by Sigma. What are you? The E70. It's just nice having a little bit of an angle working in the product around the nose. Ah, sculpted. And then I do have one blush palette. This is the one I've been using the mirror of all day. I have the powder blush palette in light. This one is also $6. I swatched it kind of weird on my hand, but there is the swatches of all of the blushes inside. And this is a really good pigmented blush palette. And I mean pigmented. You swirl your brush around a little bit, you're gonna get that blush color just stamped on your face. It is so vivid. I just find that I don't really reach for it that often because the shades in here are just very bright in pink. I like things just a little bit more subtle, so I don't really reach for this palette that often, but it is a really good palette. If you enjoy those types of colors, I think I'll dip into that one. And just go like, boop, one tap. And look at that. I just dipped into it the once and boom, whole lot of pigment. When I say it's pigmented, it's pigmented. I'm just gonna go so gently. They do have other blushes that do look really light and pretty. I definitely need to try those ones out and see if I can find a good shade that I enjoy that isn't so pink. Then for highlight, I got this cute little e.l.f. Plus Cocoa Glow highlighter. It is in the shade Moonlight, and it has one of those more like wet textures. If you dip into it, it's not a powder. Like you can see me just stamping it in. And it does look very beautiful. Excuse the stain from the blushes, but it's like a nice highlighter. And it does have a smell of coconut, which, whew, smells divine. I did powder the face already, so I'm wondering how this is gonna work. I completely forgot. So I'm just gonna take a tiny bit on my fingertip and I'm gonna start popping that on the cheekbones. Ooh, baby, yes, it's working. Oh my gosh, that looks so gorgeous. Pop a little bit on the Cupid's bow. I am wondering though, I am gonna take my favorite Y14 brush and swipe it across and then see if we can apply it. Which, did I mention the price? This one is also $6. Like I said, that is their favorite price point. Man, brush not the greatest. It's leaving some streaks. I'm gonna try taking my sponge and working that out. Yeah, best application tool is the one you have for free, which is your fingertip. Ooh, but that is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It gives you such a wet kind of look too. And then for the lips, I have one of their liquid matte lipsticks. This one is in the shade Praline, and it is only $5. It did look a lot lighter online for some reason. I was thinking it was gonna be more of a nude, but it's more of like a brown tone. Hopefully it works with this purple eyeshadow look I created. I have actually tested out their liquid lip formula before, and I do really enjoy it. I have I have one liquid lip, which is their Modern Metals one. Such a beautiful shade. And then I have one of their glosses, which I might pop a little bit on once this liquid lip is applied. Ooh, but this shade is really pretty. It is kind of like a nudie tone, but a little bit of a darker nude. I don't know if it goes perfect with today's look, so I am gonna take a little bit of the gloss from the Modern Metals collection and pop a little bit on. The gloss is also $6. Ooh, then I think what we need to do is finish up the under eye, which is gonna be easy as pie. Yes, that is my favorite saying. I'm gonna be using the two brown tones that we worked into the crease. I'm gonna start with a shade called Witty and then move into Smooth. So with the shade Witty, I'm just gonna work that all the way across on the lower lash line. Just blending it all the way through. And I'm using that on my medium eye shader by Moda. And then I'm just dipping into a little bit of the shade called Smooth with the same brush. Just working that in a little bit closer to that lower lash line. And then just taking a little bit of mascara on the lower lashes. I keep looking at this lip color in the mirror and I think it's a little bit too dark, but it's the only e.l.f. lip color that I have. Dang it. Yeah, I'm not really liking this lip color. Hold on, I'm gonna wipe this off. Just put a little bit of concealer over it, hide some of that pigment from the liquid lip. And then call me totally crazy, but I'm gonna go on top of that with that gloss. Create my own kind of nude lip gloss just to go with this. Ooh, yes, I like that a lot better. I just didn't have a backup lipstick, The only one I had was the Modern Metals, but that is a really red, like brick red. So I think both those shades were just a little bit too dark. So I think just popping on the gloss on its own looks really pretty, which, ooh, last thing. I have one of the e.l.f. Plus Mattifying Mists. This one is $8. I mentioned it in my haul video. I'm not a fan of their original formula. I don't really like it. I don't think it does anything, but that does not mean that I don't have high hopes for their new setting sprays. This does look like it has a completely different formula, and it has something called kaolin clay in it, which gives your skin a touchless touch-up with this mattifying spray. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a shake. Whoa, heavy mister. It's also one of the things I'm not the biggest fan. They need to get a hang of their misters. They need to make it just a little bit finer, because I feel like you get some heavy splatter spots. But it does smell really nice as you're spraying it. With setting sprays, of course, it's not that easy to get a first impression. It does feel really nice. It does feel like it's set in easily, but the true test is seeing if I do see a longevity of my makeup throughout the day, and you know, different tests like that, and if it does actually take away the shine. So I will update you guys later on about this spray, but so far it does seem really nice. But here we have it, the completed makeup look. I am so thrilled with how this turned out. There was some really good products in here. Definitely a lot of hidden gems that I didn't even know existed that I'm now in awe of, which, let me tell you guys, my favorites of this entire look. Number one, the Opposites Attract palette. Oh my, this is so good. The pigment, the blendability, I am speechless. I am so proud of e.l.f. They're doing such good things with their eyeshadow palettes. And the primer bronzer, ooh, it looks so good on the skin. It gives that very nice subtle bronze look without looking muddy. And then lastly, the Coconut Glow highlighter. I think this is like of the top of everything that I've tried out, because I think it's just such a stunning highlighter. It looks so beautiful going on. It gives you such a nice kind of look to the skin, and it doesn't hurt the fact that it smells absolutely incredible. There were so many good products in this try on. Of course, we had a couple of our dud items, but I think the majority was actually really good. So that makes me so thrilled. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.